Welcome to the Good Hang podcast for your week of battery-filling conversation. This week, we're here with none other than my man, Patrik Kabongo.
What's up? What's up?
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me.
I am so excited to have you.
I'm so stoked. Heavily stoked.
Yeah. Heavenly stoked.
Don't start, bro.
So I've known PK for what feels like almost 10 years now.
It does.
9
almost.
years maybe?
Yeah, but it's funny. I think it's actually less than that. I think it's probably like 8 maybe. Because I'm thinking of the photo shoot that we
COVID
did.
years or
No.
For real,
Oh
eh?
yeah.
That's COVID years. It'll be like dog years. Yeah. But no, I think I met you the first time late 2016, if not early 2017. So closer to 7, I'd say.
At Riverside.
At Riverside,
Riverside, that's my neighborhood.
Really?
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Well,
Sick.
so we I think Riverside was opening or had just opened, and a mutual friend that I mean, I had never heard of you, and
Ouch.
Yeah.
The way you said it was so
I had
like,
heard of you.
Hey, yo.
I had never heard of you. No, but like a complete stranger, really.
The
And
delivery was so rough. Like,
Till this day,
I didn't know
I
who
barely
you
know
were.
this
Anyways,
guy.
it's like I didn't know who you were. Anyways.
So I played drums, and my friend is like, "Hey, come, bring your drums. I'm gonna bring this dude. He raps. There's gonna be a keyboard player."
Yeah.
And it's just gonna be improv.
Wait,
No.
so it was like a freestyle
Yeah,
opening.
it really
random.
was. Yeah,
It was a filming. Like there
Yeah.
was no one there. It's just we were doing a promo video.
Yeah. Shout
And,
out Arash.
shout out Arash.
Yeah.
And so I get there. I had just left my previous band, so I'm just like a floating drummer.
Okay.
And I get there, set up, and then it was just immediate.
Yeah.
Immediate connection of
Yeah.
like I
Yeah.
started playing, you started
Rapping
freestyling,
over it. Yep.
and we did it for like I don't know 2 hours.
Yeah. And like an
What?
ongoing. Yeah. So it was funny too because it was an ongoing 1 hour, and the only reason we needed a break is because the keyboard player, which out of respect for him, because I don't remember his name. I don't know where he is. Was actually one of the strangest people I've ever met in my life, but like almost like maniacally genius.
Ooh.
Yeah, so
okay.
Because it was so he had this very like sinister way of playing.
Okay.
That's true. It was like Halloween.
Yes,
For an hour.
for an hour.
That's some eclectic.
Well-
You're usually in the rock, you rap, and then he
It's-
was doing
Well,
Halloween.
with
Yeah.
improv, right? You don't know,
Where it's going,
and you
how
don't know
it's-
each other.
Exactly.
So we all kind of met each other only through our instruments. And
Exactly.
I guess the difficulty if you're the only one playing keys is you're the only one bringing melody.
Exactly.
And he didn't really know, what he was doing. But
But we did.
but we had no idea either. But
Yeah.
it just like drums and vocals. There's something that just like
Yeah.
really.
I think also
clicks.
because I have like a deep voice too. It felt like we were adding bass that usually like a band would have in a melodic way, and so as strange as the melody was, what was really cool is the connectivity of how we brought it together, and I think because it was freestyle too, it didn't like it didn't categorize us or box us in a way like, oh, it doesn't sound good. It just developed, but then you're doing it for 2 hours, and so to draw inspiration, you kind of have to look at each other like, should I rap about something else? Am I thinking about something else?
Yeah.
And being able to do that and like having the friendship from there is just one of the coolest stories, you know?
So it's like before you even really spoke to each other,
Yeah.
you felt like you were getting each
Yeah,
other's vibe. That's
100%.
so
But
wild.
like, we just kept laughing.
Yeah. That's so true.
We just
That
kept
is
laughing, and it was like,
true.
yeah. Did we just become best friends?
Yes, we did.
Yep.
That's crazy.
And then now we're just like the closest of friends. Like consider him like my brother, and I'll call him every now and then. I call him more than he calls me. I just like to put that out there to the public. But no, I'll call him like we'll talk at least 3 to 4 times a month,
Okay.
and we'll just have like these quick check-ins. Just see how he's doing as a dad, and see how I'm doing with my marriage and music, the difficulties of being independent, and how we want to kind of navigate in the music landscape in Canada, especially just because. The infrastructure is a lot different. The requirements to be able to get funding is different, and you have to live with the whole concept of who's really supporting me type mentality, and without also having feeling disgruntled by anyone.
Mm-hmm.
So it's cool to have like a companion who's also in a different genre of music.
Yeah.
So I'm able to get like a different perspective and share my perspective and kind of fight this fight together without, again, like feeling any hate towards anyone. Like, oh, my friends don't come to my shows, and this and that. It's always about how do you progress as a person through your music, and how do you progress like as an artist, more than it is the frustration of like, oh, I'm not getting this grant. I'm not getting, because I think when that negativity comes in, it kind of re-navigates what the purpose actually is. And so it's cool to have like someone that I actually love being able to have those discussions with me. And
you feel less alone, and you feel like because making music or art in general can be a very lonely space.
100%.
And you thrive to some extent with that alone time, but it's easy to get lost in your thoughts. And then it's just nice to have friends who understand the difficulty of it.
Yeah, it's like someone who understands your world. Like I have that. Like I'm trying to work on a pilot right now, and I have a writer friend.
Okay, excuse me.
And well, I'm just trying. But we have these conversations where it's like we both understand what the other one's trying to do, but having a completely unattached opinion or something, like it really helps sometimes. Like it's not personal. Like the person isn't in your everyday life. It's just like, well, this is what I think. Like it's
100%.
really nice to have those chats, and it puts you back on track.
For sure.
It's interesting you say that, because I believe I commend you, because there's also the aspect of it takes a high level of emotional intelligence and maturity to be able to see it that way. Because, working on a pilot, I have friends who work in film and who, whether they're producers or directors or writers, and there's something important about a pilot where it's really the conception of everything. And so if it doesn't land, nothing else does, right? So the fact that you can see it as not taking it personal from your peer giving you critique or feedback, like that's huge, because you're seeing it as, okay, the benefit of this is me being able to grow into it. And I like to believe it's better to try and fail than fail to try,
100%.
So
that's the essence of this podcast. That's
it's true.
what brought Ariane and I together as friends, really, is like that sharing of ideas and not being afraid of, is this a good idea or is this a bad idea? It's just like throw out the ideas. And meeting you through that improv, that's what improv is. You're just throwing out ideas, and in a split second you're thinking, okay, how can, especially for drums, how can I be the bedrock so that this person can feel comfortable to just lay it out, and there's this symbiosis that happens. And when that happens, the first time you meet someone, it's pretty intense, because there's a lot of non-verbal that goes into making music.
Right.
Especially for drums, I realize, like, I take for granted, like, when I'm playing drums, there's so much thinking and meditating going on in my head, but I don't say a word, really. I have a mic, but it's like I never know what to say. And I'm usually someone who speaks a lot.
Well, I think you're someone who speaks rightfully as well, though.
I appreciate it.
Right? So, I don't know, and maybe a lot of what I believe is important is observation. And from the day actually that we did this, is someone had told me, you're really observant, and it was the first time I had heard that before. And so when you're saying you talk a lot, I think there's a difference between talking a lot and talking too much, right? So I think people who talk rightfully, like, they understand, okay, I say what I need to say and say what I believe is worth saying. But then sometimes, and that's what I have, that's really difficult with interviews and stuff sometimes, because I understand that I see life a very different way than most people. And I like to look at it as I'm not important, but I do know I'm special. And so I refuse to think or speak as someone average, but I also understand that we're so distracted by so many things that it's hard to focus on a conversation if it doesn't entertain us, if it doesn't make us feel like we're valued or our own ideas are valued. And so it's like the idea of when there's a problem, you think everything has to be fixed. And sometimes it's no, like the situation needs to be what it is in order to move forward and actually progress, right? And so
that's a cool point, because it's like in a relationship. Are you when you're being how can I say this? Like, are you looking to find a solution?
Exactly.
Or are you looking to just be the person that can listen
100%.
Right.
in the relationship?
Yeah.
You know, and those are two different
Yeah.
outcomes and two different, you know, if someone wants to feel heard and
Yeah.
you're giving a solution,
Yeah.
it's going to be a problem.
Wow, I was
Yeah.
having this conversation with my mom this morning.
No way.
Um,
What were her
Really?
thoughts? What were her thoughts on that?
No, but because I was thinking about Megan's episode, and I think like parents mean well, and when they think you're going through it,
Yeah.
they want to find like solutions to help you, but
Yeah.
sometimes you just want to go say how your day was
And not get it.
But
Yeah.
also I realize I have to make a more active effort of sharing the positive things in my life instead of going like, I'm talking to my mom, so I'm going to start whining and crying now. Like, I think that's part of it. But just one thing, because you mentioned, you mentioned before about, you know, telling Julian that
Yeah.
when he speaks, it's like relevant.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. So I started writing my pilot. In the beginning, I was sending it to almost like too many people. And I was feeling sad when people wouldn't read it. And then I
Yeah.
started realizing like most people don't read. And then also a pilot is very like, it's not like reading a book. Like
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
a different type of reading.
Yeah.
And Chloe, who was on the podcast, she was like, trust your instinct, like trust your own ideas. Like don't ask everybody their opinion. Like
sure.
like and it was nice to hear that and know that I have these people in my life who I call vision holders, where like they'll see
Ooh, I
things
like
in
that.
me
Yeah.
that I have trouble admitting myself. Like even saying I'm writing something, because I have so many friends who are talented, famous comedians and writers, I could never say
Imposter syndrome, is that what that is?
I'm
just
I
writing
believe
something.
you're correct.
Okay, I just
But
wanted
then
to
when
see.
you have somebody say it to you, you're
Yeah.
like, oh, this person sees me. And
Yeah.
and I think it's in those moments where you make those, when the person's not like being a person pleaser, that they're just genuinely like hearing you say something and then
Yeah.
holding space to say like, no, like I see who you are and I see what you're trying to do. And I think that means a lot.
That's beautiful that you see that. Like I was saying before, I commend you for that. Like, because I don't know you personally, right? And I think it's cool to get a chance to, like, I know him extremely well. He knows me extremely well. And then I have the contrast of, I don't really know you at all, you know? So to hear that, I see why you guys make a good team, you know? There's a complementary completion of thought that's there. And to go to what you were saying about your parents, I think it's okay to have moments of venting, you know, where when you're a child and your parent is, if you're lucky to have available parents, whether single parent or both parents, it's a dream to be able to say, man, I can vent to my parents still.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people that, you know, come from, and at least I can only speak for myself, like growing up in the projects, not everyone's fortunate to have that. And I was fortunate to have that. Mindful of, you know, difficulties every family has, like marital problems or family problems amongst like cousins and blah, blah, blah. But I think it's cool to be able to still have some form of relationship with your parents, you know, because at the end of the day, they might not know who you are, but they're part of the foundation of who you were.
Mm-hmm.
And so if there's still that connection of, I'm not looking for advice from you, I just need you to tend to me so I can vent.
Yeah.
That is something really powerful to think of, you know. And I don't know if you're in a committed relationship or anything like that, but for me, I have a really good relationship with my parents, and especially my mom, and then having a sister and having a good relationship with her, and then being married. I get to travel through 3 important relationships with women in my life, right? And so all of them deserve a piece of me, but they don't all get the necessary piece of me.
Yeah.
And that's another thing where it's with your friends or your coworkers or your peers that do art. Where's the real value in the relationship? Is it transactional where, oh, I just want to link up with him or her every now and then because I can be in the studio around people that are popular?
Right.
Or I won't follow you back because you didn't follow me back.
Yeah.
You know, so there's always these tangible and non-tangible interactions that don't get paid. There's not enough attention paid to it. And so we become like, I don't want to say attention seekers, but that's where the problem for validation comes from my perspective, I should say.
Yeah.
So.
Hey, I just remembered. You just came back from Africa, no?
Yeah. I went to Togo.
How was that?
Man, I think everyone needs to go to Africa at least once in their life. Yeah, it was beautiful.
Was it your first time?
It was my second time.
Okay.
I went to Rwanda and what was it, Kenya in 2011. I was doing ministry work, went to go build basketball courts over there. And then after that, for Togo, I went to help my wife's best friend's husband. It sounds like a whole like interjection there.
No, I
Just so it's clear. So they have an organization there called Miledu, and that's actually where I'm wearing the hat today. You know, just want to show some love and support.
Shout out.
And so, yeah, they invited me there. We had a panel to help with, or rather discuss the importance of hard work, the truth and story behind like people who play professionally in basketball.
Okay.
And me, it was a really peculiar case because I've never played basketball professionally. I played at university level, but I did music for the NBA, or that was used by the NBA with a good friend of mine, Lionel Faber. And so we did a lot of like sync tracks for the NBA, and different teams had used them. So they brought me there to speak about, you know, just the importance of the theme of how a thematic song can be important for a sport and a team.
Oh, wow.
So it was really nice. So just to have the experience to go to Africa again, and the heritage that's there for Togo, and what they're going through and what they're changing in terms of the organization we were working with, and the personnel was amazing. And as, you know, a Congolese child, and Togo's not far from Congo too, just being able to talk to my dad who's in Congo, it was nice. It felt like I was where I need to be. And in truth, it's also cool to see people that look like me, you know, like being able to see Africans like 90% of the time, and then you see Europeans there, white people. It was like, whoa, it's cool. There's a huge diversity there as well, and the multiculturalism. So it was amazing. I was really happy to go there, and I also am happy that I went and I didn't make it about taking too many pictures or doing like just recently, I think it was like 3 days ago, I wanted to make a post where I was like, oh, like a recap of my trip, and I was like, it felt cheap. That's exactly it. It felt so cheap. I was like, I'm not going to post it. And I think I also had that moment, which I'm sure all of us have, like, you know, as we are artists, but I do understand, like, with the social media game and the currency of content, you have this, like, urge to want to post things so that you don't fall between the cracks. But, yeah, I strongly suggest anyone or everyone to go to Africa.
Yeah, it must have been a beautiful trip. It must have been, feel close to your roots.
Amazingly. Yes.
Do good through sports. I think another part of why we connected so strongly is not just the improv, but the similarity between applying what you learn in sports, but in music. That teamwork, that you don't win by yourself, you win as a team,
100%.
And you play your position to the best that you can play, and there's no sub position. Like you're just there to be the best that you can be, and the better that you are, the better that you make the others around you.
100%.
And it's I feel like for a while with Sash, with my bandmate in the Flamingos Pink.
Sash.
Yeah, shout out to Sash. So he was a goalkeeper in hockey. And
me too. That's crazy. I didn't know that.
You were too?
Yeah.
Really?
I wanted to play NHL professionally. Like
really?
Yeah, that's a story for another day.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know. Yeah, I started off playing hockey because, you know, you're born in Montreal. It's like, what else are you going to do?
Okay, so you are born in Montreal.
I'm born in Montreal, but raised in Toronto. I identify more as a Torontonian just for clarity.
But you're fully bilingual.
Trilingual? Is that
trilingual?
Yeah, trilingual.
Okay, sick. But sorry, you're saying about Sash
being a goalkeeper. Yeah.
Well, I think in my old band, no one played team sports. And there was something that that was kind of bugging me because there was a lack of, I don't want to say accountability, but
collaboration maybe?
No, you know what? There's a level of accountability in sports that you have no choice but to say, my bad, I will do this better. And at some point with Sash, I was like, I'm going to play music only with people who have played sports now. And then I realized that's kind of, you want to be more inclusive. And I realized that it's the same thing with people who've worked in kitchens or in restaurants. It's that whole thing of you work as a team. Like if one of us is sinking, we're all sinking.
True.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's so many different facets to our relationship.
Oh man.
I wanted to talk about
the layers.
The fact that you grew up in Toronto, but we connected on English Canadian media. like TV shows. Whereas in Quebec, everyone grew up watching Canal Famille.
Yeah.
I did not grow up watching Canal Famille.
Yeah.
I grew up watching YTV.
Yeah.
Me too, yeah.
And it's like
I grew up watching the Maury Show. That's why I'm so.
The Maury Show. Yeah.
You
The
are
results.
not the father.
The results are in.
Yeah,
That's
it's so
why,
messed up, man. I still think like all those tests were duds.
The lie.
But
I think
anyways.
it was a lot of acting. Because
Of
now that I
course.
think about it, so when I was living in LA, I went to a Green Day concert. I'm sorry, we're gonna go back to YTV.
that's
But
Dude, shout out
it
Green
was
Day.
it was sick, honestly. Like
Yeah.
I've had some cool opportunities, and the NFL sent us to this like pre-Super
Cool.
Bowl, and like Miley Cyrus was opening for
Okay.
Green Day. It was really cool.
But Green Day is like
Yeah,
it's-
they're-
It was
it's in
epic.
another-
Don't wanna
yeah.
be
And at
an
one point, they
American
pull
idiot.
someone. Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, I love
They
those
pull someone. They're like, "Who knows this song?" And they pull someone from like the audience to play the guitar for like a song.
Whoa.
So the kid comes on, like maybe like 13,
Yeah.
and he starts playing the song. And I'm crying. And at the time, this guy, he like had just become my boyfriend like the day before, and I bring in a
Yeah.
Super Bowl fucking party.
I thought she was gonna say Butler. I swear to gosh, I'm
No,
so
no,
sorry.
no.
That's crazy.
boyfriend Butler.
But he goes, "Well, you know that's staged, right?" And I was like, "Well, I don't know. It's still
I
I
hope
still
not.
made me so emotional." And I think that I don't really care. And I'm someone who's like, I don't care if it's staged. If it's
Yes.
good entertainment,
Yes,
I
yeah,
love
yeah,
it,
yeah, yeah.
And he regretted telling me
you that,
afterwards.
yeah.
But now every time because sometimes TikTok, they'll put like a Maury show, and like the people in the audience are so like confrontational and stuff. It's almost like when you watch reality TV, and like if they want to keep having seasons, they have to
Make it
make
outrageous.
the plot like, you can't just be like, I'm single, so I'm gonna sit here and do nothing. It's like, no, you gotta go do something about it. And I feel like the Maury, Jerry Springer, I think it was probably improv, but
That's
I
interesting.
think it
never
was
looked
actors.
at it that way. I
don't
never
know.
looked at it that way.
But what shows did you guys? I'm trying to think of like Degrassi. No, it was
Oh,
YTV.
man.
A
No
lot
disrespect.
Of, a lot
Yeah,
of
it's-
green.
Because you're thinking about
Thinking about
the fact that you know that is crazy.
green.
Okay, welcome to the click. What? Yeah, no.
thinking about uh-oh.
The Punisher. That's his thing in there, right? List out a couple. We'll see, and we'll see if you know them as well.
Well, my favorite was Reboot.
Oh, that's exactly what I was gonna say.
Yeah, Reboot was.
That's the
Was
first
it
one I was gonna say.
robots?
There were humans, there were robots, but funnily enough, what was cool is they lived in mainframe, which
Exactly.
was like
Yeah.
a computer.
Yeah.
And there was this thing, and it would say, "Warning,
Incoming game."
And it
It's
was this big purple
Cube.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
would come down, and it's like the user is playing a game. But
And
once
we're-
you're stuck in the game, what
Yeah.
happens in the game?
Yeah.
Like if you die in the game, you die
die.
in real life.
Yeah.
Oh my
So
God.
people would flee the game, but others would like.
But it's not cartoons. It was
Yeah,
scripted.
no, it was cartoons.
So
Oh, it was
no,
cartoon.
so that's what's funny. It's not cartoons. And whoever is going to
CGI?
comment on this video, yeah, did you know? Fact check this because I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it is the first show that will use CGI, and it's a Canadian show. That's a lot of people don't know that. So the whole point of the show is it's done in a computer. So for example, like the characters, they're not human; they're sprites as part of the computer.
Okay.
So you have like people like Dot, like Enzo, Megabyte,
Oh my God, you have such a good
Hexadecimal.
memory.
Hexadecimal.
Hack and Slash, like Mouse.
Bob was the guardian.
Bob was the Guardian. And so the reason they have to play the game is their enemy is the user, which funny enough, like is the
us.
human, right? So when the human wins, it destroys mainframe, which is like the systematic world in that computer. So my favorite episode is when Bob gets sent to it looks like a spider, but it's called the World Wide Web. So
Okay.
you get sent to like the World Wide Web, and it looks like
Like
this
deep
virus.
space,
It's
yeah.
crazy. So little things like that were just amazing, and you never. I don't say you don't appreciate it, but you don't understand it until you get older. But it starts, for me, why I love it and I love the references of it is because you get to see how much your mind can remember and not understand. You know what I
Interesting.
mean? Like, I'm sure we've all experienced this. You ever think of like traumatic experiences you had, and at the time, you didn't think it was a big thing, and then you get older, and you're like, whoa.
That was pretty intense.
Like me, and I'm not saying this to glamorize it, but like when we were younger, when there was like drive-bys in our neighborhood, and nothing bad would happen, we would laugh. Like we thought it was funny. But then you get older and you're like, there's not really funny. Like, there's nothing funny about that at all. It's unfortunate, you know?
But comedic relief is probably
Humor
the
is-
most human
Agreed.
thing too,
Yeah.
because
Absolutely.
it's like you
Absolutely.
if you can't laugh about it, then it's too heavy to move
I think if
forward.
you can't laugh about it or cry about it, it might not be something that helps your development. I feel like if you're at a point where you're just numb with things, I think that's a dangerous place to be in.
Yeah.
You know?
But it's tough because how do you know that you're numb?
I think you know, because you can experience so many. For example, so I do mixed martial arts, and sometimes you do, for example, shin conditioning, right? Either you get a bamboo stick and you hit your shin over a period of time. I think you do like 1 minute, you hit bamboo, and then you take rest, and then you do it again. And what happens is, after a while, you don't feel the pain the same when you kick, right?
Yeah.
You can tell. You can absolutely tell.
That's really
You know?
interesting because, for example, Sash, he's really into weightlifting right now, and he always was when he was a bit younger, and then he kind of stopped for a while, and now he's back into it.
Yeah.
And it's funny because it's such a physical way of exerting that energy or that pain or that, and it's a thin line, that like pain and numbness, and it's almost like you want to feel pain to remind yourself that you're not numb, but that could be a slippery slope as well.
Yeah, that's tough. Yeah, but
I mean,
I don't know.
I think that comedy, like I'll be like, while I'm experiencing something traumatic, and then I'll think of a joke like in that moment.
Yeah,
and I
me too.
think that's kind of insane. And some of my friends like call me out on it, and I'll like throw it out randomly. But it's almost kind of became my defense mechanism.
So see, I was
can
gonna
relate
ask.
to that.
Okay, because I was gonna ask: Is humor? Would you say often for you, humor is a like coping? Is coping mechanism the same as defense mechanism?
I think it is a coping mechanism.
Okay.
I realized like, so after my mom died, I used comedy as and shock value as a way to cope. It was like I would do dead mom jokes to make people uncomfortable. And now I think about it and it makes me feel a bit uncomfortable. But at the same time, I feel like it was my only way, if only for a slight second, to make someone feel that discomfort.
Yeah.
There's something I realize, or in retrospect, that's not particularly nice about that. But I mean, it was just a way to, if we can laugh about it, it's one step closer to being kind of, I don't want to say over it, but past it.
Yeah.
But maybe in a way to feel also less like other, like in the sense that.
Well, you make the other person.
You don't want to feel like a victim. You don't want to feel like they're looking at you some type of way. Like Pete Davidson famously like became a comedian making jokes about his father passing away in 9/11.
Yeah.
And I think it's a lot of people, it's like they don't want to be seen like, oh, poor you.
Yeah.
Like you almost
Woe
become
is
like
me.
a victim of your situation.
100%.
And no one wants to be an outcast, even if it's for, like he said he went, I was reading about it today, and he said he went to a new school, and the kids were like, hey, your dad died. Want to be friends? And he would be like, no. Like there was just this vibe that was really weird of people just, there's something, you're interesting, so I'm going to hold on to it. And you're just like, you know what, just let me blend in. And I think in a way, maybe by making jokes about something, it's like, oh, it's not a big deal. Like just forget about it so I can be on an equal playing field with everybody else.
Yeah, I think that is a fair assessment. But to come back to the whole just humor thing, I think it's, if you can't laugh about life, it's gonna be a rough ride. So you got to learn to kind of laugh about stuff.
Yeah, that's very true.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean,
Okay, I have a little game for us because
Whoa.
this pod goes
are there
really
prizes
really quick.
or what? Or
You already won.
Yeah, you're here.
amazing.
I mean, it's just a little silly thing where we say our crush of the week and our ick of the week, but it doesn't have to be a person. It could be like a situation or something like. Do you want to start this time, or do you want me to start?
Beautiful.
No, go ahead, because I got to think now.
You got to think? Okay. So I was going to say my crush of the week is my sister, Elizabeth, because she just had a baby daughter.
Whoa,
Sana.
congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Younger or older?
She's my younger sister.
Okay.
It's the most beautiful baby in the world. And I'm just so proud of her and I'm so happy. So that's
what's
my,
up.
all my heart. Like, I wish she would send me pictures every 10 seconds, but she doesn't. So this is a reminder.
She's just busy not sleeping. And
Yeah,
doing
Yeah.
laundry and doing food and.
She can make an effort. I know she's taking pictures. I know she's taking pictures.
Yeah, that's so real.
And then my ick of the week, I was thinking about this because now the spring season's coming and stuff. And it's people who like either biking or like on the chairlift will listen to their music on the speaker and make everyone listen to their music. I
feel so bad.
I can't.
I
You
used to-
do that?
No, I used to do that so much in university.
No, but
man.
I feel like there's an age where, like, even now, that's where I'm like, I know I'm getting older when someone's listening to their car music really loud, obnoxiously, because I hate hearing music that sounds bad. So it's not even the sound, the song itself. It's how So it's like when someone puts
That's
music
fair.
at a party just on their phone, I hate it. Like, I hate the way it sounds, but I get
it
what they're
hits
trying
wrong.
to do. But there's one time I was on a date with a guy and we went snowboarding, and he had one of these jackets that had like a speaker inside, and he started to put his music while other people that weren't with us on the chair. I was like, if you don't stop right now, I'm jumping off. Like I was like, I can't.
What song was it? Do you remember?
No, I don't remember.
I was about to say, don't wanna be an American. The continuation is insane.
So that's mine. Do you want to go next?
Yeah, for sure. My crush this week is my wife.
Okay.
It's cool to. I'm someone who never really was good at opening up about my feelings and stuff. Like I'm a ambivert. Like I prefer being alone as an introvert, but I know that I have this ability to bring people together. Like my parents have always told me that, colleagues tell me that. So I understand my responsibility, like when I'm in an environment. But it's cool to be with someone who knows how to kind of navigate with that, you know? So I need my time as your wife. You need your time as yourself, you know? And I really appreciate it for that. And my ick of the week is I'm getting very tired of the term "it's giving."
It's giving.
Yo, I can't. Everywhere I turn, it's giving. I'm like, what is it giving? Like, I don't understand.
It's giving millennial.
Like, this outfit. Yeah, you know, this outfit is giving. What? Like, what are these terms?
It's
like,
giving,
what's going on?
Similar. I think it's like internet language.
I know, but it's just, there's so many. Okay, maybe it's because I'm a songwriter and I'm also a copywriter, so words are really important, and that's my love language too, right? Like communication, conversation, dialogue. So when I hear things like trigger being a popularized term, woke being a popularized term, it's giving, understood the assignment. It's like all these terms. I find like a laziness to it.
Yeah, there's
almost,
a lack of originality because I used to have a digital marketing company. So like writing captions was, and now it's like, basically you can just have a notes in your phone that you just write all the popular terms and if a brand comments that under something, it's like, oh, they get it.
Yes, exactly.
I get it. It's,
like,
it's not original. It's not like an original
so
thought versus someone actually thinking of something.
And the thing also is I'm okay in understanding what it's for. I get it that now everything, because we have such a short attention span now, everything is written or spoken or dealt with verbally as if it's a hook.
Right.
Like
or a meme.
Yeah, but even that's a hook, right? Like
Right.
I need something quick, memorable, and influential. So it's like, but does it have meaning? Like, is it meaningful? You know, it's easier to tell someone, the outfit hits different than it is to tell someone I love you. Like, that's weird to me.
Right.
You know? So for me, those are my icks. Let's try
Use
to
real. Well,
I wouldn't say not real, but I would just say let's be intentional.
Yeah,
let's just be intentional.
Is the right word.
That's
Okay.
it, you know?
dig.
And what
Yeah.
about you, Janelle?
my crush is my grandma,
Ooh.
95 years old. She still
Ooh.
dances once a week.
She's rocking.
Yeah, and it makes me realize, you know, age is really it doesn't matter.
Facts.
It really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And to be fortunate to be 95 and to be healthy,
Yeah.
but to take advantage of it, I think is a really she's just crushing it.
Yeah.
Major.
That's a rocket move.
My ick. I feel like I just forgot. I had an ick.
Maybe you're too positive.
No, I had one.
You have it?
Now I forgot it.
Is the
It's
ick forgetting?
No, I'll find it. I'll text it to you. I'll call you.
Well, okay, we're gonna finish with one last question to wrap up the pod. And thank you so much for being here. It's been
y'all.
a really good
The
hang.
honor is mine. Seriously.
What are you calling in this year?
What am I calling in this year?
What do you want to attract? Like what?
Wow, that's it. The way you said it was really original.
Really?
Yeah, I've never heard it like that. Like it's always what's the way that people say it often? It's what are you manifesting? Yeah. I would say peace over happiness, collaborations, a baby, and just a better understanding of what I need to accomplish on my end to help the people around me be who they're supposed to be, as opposed to who they think they are.
Oh, okay. Say that one more time. What do I need to do on my end in order for people to become who they're supposed to?
For me to, like, as my part on my end, like as my responsibility to help, like, the people around me be who they're supposed to be rather than who they think they are.
Mm-hmm. You could be a vision holder.
You think so?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's definitely a vision holder.
I love
that.
Know.
We'll see. I
love that. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you all.
That was wonderful.
Yeah, really, thank you very much for being a part of this.
Such an honor.
Love you very much, man.
Yeah, I love you more.